Hello, my name is Matt Jerabek, and for the last 10.5 years I've owned Mr. Dryout, an independent water damage and mold remediation company in the Tampa Bay area. And I'd like to share some thoughts on how you should think about hiring a water damage company if you have a flooded house or you have a mold issue in your home. Just talk about my experience, we've done 2,775 homes since July 2004. And I've also been to a lot of other companies' jobs and houses that they've dried out, or things that haven't went so well, and homeowners have called me after the fact. So having a flooded house can be very stressful, waking up to an inch of water throughout your house, or coming home from vacation, part of your house is flooded and there's mold. It can be extremely stressful situation. So if you're in that situation, please watch the remainder of this video and think about some of these tips. Many times you've never had your house flooded before. It doesn't happen that often. 1 in 700 homes is going to have a water damage, some type of water damage event. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have to call a company to come clean it up. But when you get tired of shop vacuuming, if you've tried to clean it up yourself, you know there's a lot of water can be discharged from a washing machine hose, an ice maker line, running toilet, busted shut-off valve, or a hot water tank is normally what floods homes. And you need to know what is the proper way to dry a house, the techniques, the equipment that's needed, and the amount of time that it should take to dry your home. A lot of companies charge, like I do, for time, for man hours worked, or they use a pricing software that generates the bill. So you need to know up front how much money it's going to cost. They should be able to give you a clear understanding of how much you're being charged, whether or not you could have a flat fee, like it's not going to go over $3,000, or it's not going to go over $1,500, or would you do it for less than my deductible? These are really great questions to ask up front, because a lot of companies are going to just say, just sign the paper and we'll take care of the rest, an authorization. If you sign an authorization, look and see if the prices they're charging are listed on the authorization sheet. Do you know how much the dehumidifiers cost? Do you know how much the fans cost? Do you know how much the mold sampling is going to cost? You want to know up front how much you're paying for things and if they're fair and reasonable. Do a quick web search on the company that's in your home or you're prospectively looking to hire. Look and see if the reviews, do the reviews look legitimate, or do you think they're just someone put those up, were paid to put those up? See if they look like real people and the way real people talk. Ask if the person is licensed, the company is licensed. Do they carry workers' comp? Do they have general liability? There's a lot of fly-by-night companies. I've seen a lot of companies come and go. You want to make sure that you're protected and then the headache that you're experiencing doesn't turn into a bigger one if something goes wrong. A lot of times, a lot of the companies pay a big kickback. It's very well known in the trades that a lot of thank yous are given, but some of the kickbacks go $800, $1,500. So the guy that just introduced you to this company that you're not familiar with seems maybe a little bit too happy, or you see him out by the truck, chances are they're getting $800 to $1,500 just for an introduction to you. Now who do you think is going to pay that? You're either going to pay it or the insurance company is going to pay it. It's going to get padded into the bill. And you're like, how could that be? Well, how expensive does it cost to clean up a house? It could vary. It could be $500, it could be $1,000. But if a company tells you their average bill is $7,000, or all their jobs are going to cost at least $5,000, you want to perk your ears up and really take a look at that. Because a lot of the damage that's done to the home and the reconstruction of your home is going to cost a lot of money, and that's how they can afford to pay out the big referrals. So if they rip out a kitchen or a bathroom, remodeling a kitchen or a bathroom, kitchens could be anywhere from $7,000 on up. Granite countertops, custom work in the kitchen, custom cabinets, real wood cabinets, they can cost a lot of money. So when they start busting up your house and cutting drywall and doing things, ask if it's really necessary. If it's a clean water flood, they shouldn't be destroying your home. If it's gray water or sewage water, yes, and many times the carpet's going to have to come out, and there's proper protocols to be followed. But if you have clean water in your house and they're automatically just starting to destroy your home, you might want to stop and get a second opinion. If you are asked to sign a work authorization, most companies are going to ask you to sign a work authorization. There's also a form called assignment of benefits. You want to be careful what you sign. You want to have them clearly tell you what exactly they're signing and what it means. Because you can get caught into signing away the rights of your claim. You can give ownership of your claim away. You can give a lot of rights and obligations over to this company that you really don't know much about. If they tell you that they're going to eat the deductible, or you're not going to have to pay your deductible, you might want to raise your ears again, because it's unethical. And there again, how are they going to do that? How are they going to pad the bill or run the machines forever in your home to drive up the price of the bill to cover that? If your deductibles, most deductibles I see are $1,000 or $2,500. A lot of people have a hard time paying that, or they have damage that doesn't really require all that they want to do, so they have to expand the job to cover that deductible. You also want to look out for if they tell you, well, that really doesn't matter how much it costs, we're going to bill the insurance company. Well, it does matter how much they're going to cost, and it does matter how much they call the insurance company. For the mere fact is, if the company charges you $5,000 and your insurance company says fair and reasonable on this job is $3,500, the company may come back and threaten to lien your house until you pay that extra $1,500. Everyone's friendly at the beginning, but when it's time comes to pay the bill and your insurance company has decided not to pay the bill, they might ask you for that money. So you might want to have that discussion about, if the insurance company doesn't cover your charges, am I going to get stuck with a big bill? Or to add on top of your deductible amount, it could be quite a bit of money. And then what happens if your claim is denied? A lot of insurance companies only cover sudden and immediate damage, or damage that appears to be less than 2 weeks old. So they might say it's homeware neglect. And you say, well, I haven't been in that closet for a long time. I didn't know it was mold like that growing 4 foot, 5 foot up the wall, or behind your china cabinet, or behind a big bookcase. That mold might have been growing there for quite some time, or it might be fairly recent. The insurance company is going to look at that as neglect. So that's where you could be stuck with a bill that doesn't covered. Or you might have an insurance policy that doesn't have any water damage coverage on it at all. And I've seen that case as well. How much is the company going to charge you if the insurance company doesn't pay the bill? If the leak is from a drain line or a shower pan that's gone bad, that might also not be covered. So you really have to be careful. The safest bet is if it's a sudden immediate pipe break, sudden discharge of water, just as is written in your insurance policy. If it's not covered in your policy, or there's no mold or fungi or dry rot coverage in your policy, or it's limited to $10,000, there again, you need to find out up front how much is the company going to charge you. Because any charges or any work that's done, once it's done, it has to be paid for. So you need to be clear about, do I have the coverage? Will the insurance company going to pay this bill or not? Or are you going to get stuck holding the bag for the bill? I'd also like to tell you, please check the people that come in your house. Whether it's a plumber, an AC tech, a water damage company, a mold remediator, some type of inspector, ask them if they're background checked. A lot of companies hire temporary workers with shady backgrounds, and you just want to ask them if they check their background check their employees. Also be familiar with companies that try to scare you. If people try to scare you about mold, if there's been mold in your house for some time, you might have skin rashes, you could have headaches, you could have lung infection would be the worst. But I've done this for 10.5 years, and I've only known a few families that were really ill before we came in and cleaned the house, and then it was great. But be careful of people that really push hard sells or try to spend you a lot of money on testing. There's a lot of independent labs where you can take a piece of scotch tape and a plastic bag in and do your own test as a homeowner. So before you start writing big checks out, do a little background research and ask the company, how much is the testing going to cost? How much is a protocol going to cost? Is there anything I need to file with the county or the local government? Is there any permits that need to be pulled? These are all things. Is there any lead tests that we need? Ask the questions up front, because the bill can get huge real quick with some of these companies. I've seen bills for $30,000, $20,000 on jobs that I would only charge $3,000 to $5,000 on. So be very careful. I'd also like to tell you that, what else would I like to tell you? I'd just like to tell you, just be careful. I mean, in the end, just be careful. Do your background check, or do a little quick web search. It might save you thousands, literally thousands of dollars on your claim process and the headaches that go on, and how quickly you will get back to regular life. If you have any other questions, just post them in the comments and I'll try to address them. Matt Jerabek, Mr. Dryout. Thank you for watching. I hope this saves you a lot of time and spares you some bad experiences. Thank you.